going, everybody, and welcome back to Salvage Auto Rebuilds, where, yes, as you can see today, we are starting to work on a new project vehicle. So guys, this one is going to be our pride and joy. So I'm thinking of keeping this one for a little bit of time. I don't know how long exactly, but first of all, we gotta try and get her fixed up a little bit. So she needs a little bit of body work here and there, nothing too serious. So we've got a couple of rusty patches here and there, and I think the biggest part to get this thing back up and running would be some engine work, because yeah, the engine is quite a bit of a sorry state at the moment, as you can see over there. And yep, just trying to jump over here. So yeah, we've got the original engine in this car, as far as I can see. It's definitely gonna need a little bit of work under the hood, and I think suspension also. There might be a couple of odd pieces we might have to have a look at. So yeah, this is going to be the start of our new 3rd gen Camaro project, guys. So first of all, we need to get back to the shop with this and just see if we can get it off the trailer first of all. So yeah, so Uncle Bill is very happy with his BMW E36 still. He's been using it daily, and he already left for work, and we are actually starting off a little bit late again today, but I think everything will work out. Alright, so let's get over to the shop and see if we can get this thing dropped off safely. Alright, so we made it over to the shop, guys, and I think what we're going to do today is we're going to reverse this thing sort of into the yard, and just going to see if we can get it off the trailer. I think that should probably work. I guess we'll see. Oh yeah, so yeah, I always, tap the windscreen wiper switch. Alright, ever since I fixed that up, it's been kind of a problem. But okay, let's see if we can get this thing off the trailer without any issues here, and without causing any damage to it. Alright, we are a little bit close to that wall on that side, so I hope we are going to be able to do this. Let's just rather walk around. Alright, so I don't know if it's going to work out too well, but yeah, there she goes. Alright, I think that helped. Alright, let's get the trailer just leveled out here again. And then we're going to decide where I want to go with that Camaro. I think maybe we'll put it straight up onto our little scissor lift here. I think we're going to probably start with suspension work. So yeah, this car's going to need a little bit of work. And I'm hopeful we'll be able to get this thing up and running in no time. We do need to check the tires, because I think the tires are losing pressure. So yeah, this is going to be a very nifty little project of our own. So I'm trying to see if we can get this thing up and running soon, so I can use it as a daily, just getting back from, from the work to home and such. So yeah, our little truck has been doing pretty well, but I think it's time we actually started leaving that over here at the shop and then just getting ourselves a proper car to drive around with. So I was actually thinking of fixing up the little station wagon over here for myself, but I kind of figured, nah, we're going to do something a little bit flashier for ourselves. So I paid a total of 15,000 for this car as it sits here, and it is, I think it's worth every single penny that we spent on it. So yeah, guys, we actually have got the second part of the payment as well from our customer who's been asking us to do the total restoration on the 2nd gen Firebird. So that is over at the paint shop in Middletown. So they're going to be sorting that out for us. So I think what we're going to start with today is probably be painting the station wagon over there, because I want to see if the paint can start curing. So we already got the paint matched. So this is Coca-Cola red. I think the color code is F40009. So that is what we are going to be painting this car in, and we are going to go with some white rims eventually. And yeah, it turns out we decided to paint the car the same color as the one that we just picked up for ourselves here, which is also red. But I think it might be a different shade of red, so we'll try and figure it out. Alright, so just gotta see if we can get this thing up onto our lift over here so that we can start working on suspension. And I might even have a look at the engine as well. I don't know if the engine is going to come back to life. We might have to do a proper engine rebuild at some point. But for now, let's just maybe get it up onto the lift here. Alright. Alright, yeah, almost there. Alright, that's maybe a little bit too far, but we'll push it back a tiny bit. Just a bit. Alright, might have to push it over this way a bit. Alright, yeah. I really want to see if I can find one of those 2-post lifts, because those will definitely work a little bit better. I just don't know if it'll work too great under this little carport of ours, but yeah, I guess we'll figure that out once we find one of those. Okay, let's get this thing lifted up a little bit. I think that is good for now. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. So yeah, I think, guys, let's start getting some organization going here. Let's just push the trailer a little bit this way and get it hooked off from our pickup truck here. Alright, we're going to just push it into the yard and put it more or less in its spot over here. Alright, so in other news, I actually went through all of the parts on the station wagon, and I did send the stuff that we need to have refurbished over to our contact who's been doing the chrome plating for us. So yeah, I've kept all of the stuff that is kind of still in decent condition, so we're just going to wait for the new stuff to arrive and also all of the refurbished stuff. And yeah, I found my pry tool that was lost in the previous episode, so we've got 2 pry tools now, so which is great. Alright, let's see. Gonna grab some tools again. And oh, wait a second, before I forget to tell you guys, I actually found a 4th wheel. Okay, I see it's not here. Okay, so I may have left it at Uncle Bill's house, but okay, we're not gonna need it today anyway. So yeah, I did track down a 4th wheel like this. We're just gonna see if these are gonna look good on the Firebird. If we don't end up using them, then at least we've got a full set again. Alright, but yes, let's get our toolbox over here, because we are going to need the spray gun first of all, with our air compressor, which I also need to bring out here. And then we're going to see if we can paint this little wagon of ours up. Whoop, this probably fell out of the toolbox. Okay, let's just put that down over there for now. We also need the air compressor. Alright, let's grab this. Alright, just going to bring this closer here so that we can get some air going for our spray gun. Alright, it's this drawer over here. Alright, let's get this thing ready to start painting the car. I don't think there's anything in here at the moment. Alright, so I think before we paint, guys, maybe I should just take the rest of the interior out. I think that'll be probably a good idea. Okay, so let's maybe start with that, and then we will get the spray gun sorted for the first coat of paint. So yeah, let's not jump the gun here. Let's rather try and do this a little bit better. Alright, so let's try and figure out how this interior is going to come apart. I think the parcel shelf, yeah, we can just grab it and put it down like this. Okay, and now we do have got these trims on the side. I think those also pop off with the pry tool. So let's just see if we can do this. Yeah, there we go. There's the one. Alright, yeah, we're definitely going to have to probably replace this. This looks like it's kind of in bad condition. So luckily, Lewis has got some contacts, and we are going to be able to get these parts new or either refurbished. I don't know, we'll see. These are a little bit too far gone. I think it'll be better if we could replace them. Alright, so now you can just put that back into the toolbox, and let's grab the wrench. Okay, so I want to see if we can get this back seat out real quick. I think that'll be great. Okay, so there's a bolt on that side, and there should be another one on this side. Right over there. Come on, can we reach it? Okay, I think we got it. Alright, so out with the old back seat, which is looking a little bit tired. But it's okay, we will hopefully find something to replace it with. And now I've got to try and figure out these seat bolts. There should be 4. Just kind of a standard thing, you know. Alright, now the question is, where are these rear bolts? Are they somewhere over there? I think we've got it. Alright, after a little bit of finagling, we managed to find the fourth bolt on the seat, and they are not easy to take out. Okay, so this seat is actually fine. So I think all of the parts that are good, let's just come and put them over here with the rest of the stuff. So we've got some parts from all different cars there now. It's starting to almost look like a little mini junkyard back there. Alright, let's see if we can take this one out as well. Alright, the front ones are easy, but these rear ones, they are a whole other nemesis to get to. Alright, but there we go. So we've got the passenger seat out as well, which is also still decent. So I think we can go ahead and reuse these, but I'm going to have to try and see if I can find a new rear seat for us, because, yeah, our seat is a little bit too far gone. Alright, what else do we need to do? It's the dashboard and also the handbrake lever here. So I don't really think this would have been a problem for us painting it, but yeah, this is going to have to be replaced as well. So let's just chuck that over there. And I think for the gear stick, we're going to need the screwdriver. And also probably for the dashboard. So let's go ahead and just undo this. Okay, gear stick is also not too great. So I'm going to have to find a new one of those. And then I think last but not least is going to be this dashboard. So I think those are only the 2 screws on each side. And then this thing should come out without any issues. Alright, let's see how this works. There we go. And also just maybe have a little bit of a look at this thing. Yeah, it definitely isn't the greatest, but I think our cluster is still working. So I might have to check that out. But I think for now, let's just put it over here. And I will decide what I'm going to do a little bit later on. So now we are pretty much ready to start painting this car. And wait a second, I actually forgot one piece of trim there at the back on the trunk lid. So come on, can you open? There we go. Alright, let's try and pop this off as well. Yeah, there's our trunk lid cover, or trunk door panel, as they call it. So there we go. That is also still looking decent. Can definitely reuse that. And I think that is the interior stripped completely. So we should be good to start painting this car now. Alright, so yeah, as you can see, I did do a little bit of off-camera primer work to this car, because we ended up sandblasting it a little bit, because I was afraid of rust starting to creep back. So I think it's just safer that we primed it up a little bit. So yeah, now we're going to get ready to put the first layer of paint on this thing, guys. And this is going to be the first part of the transformation to making this car look a whole lot different. So I think going from the dark color to a light color is definitely a little bit of a change in scenery. So let's start maybe on the roof here. And just try and see if we can do this properly. Alright, yeah, this is actually a big roof. Even though the car isn't that big, you know, it's I think the roof is probably the biggest part and also the hardest part to get covered properly. But we just got to take our time here and make sure we do it as good as possible. And now we don't have a handbrake on this car, so it's going to probably be moving about a bit now and then. Alright, well, that is looking pretty good so far. We are getting the coverage pretty well down onto this bodywork. I think this is going to look so nice once we put the clear coat over it. So I'm doubtful we're going to do that today. But we'll see. If I think the paint is dry enough for the clear coat, we can go ahead and put that down. Because I think this is kind of a quick drying paint, so it should work out. Alright, let's just get our headlamp torch on here. Alright, and there goes the air compressor once again, which means we were running low on air. Alright, well, definitely making good progress, and I think we are getting all of those nooks and crannies at least. Alright, around the back here. There we go. Alright, so I might have to take the wheels off again anyway. So we need to paint those white. So gonna have to go and get those tires removed and make sure we don't get any paint on the tires themselves too much. But luckily we all know that can be cleaned up as well, so not really a big train smash. Alright, we are getting some overspray on the rims, but that's fine. We'll sort that out once we decide to paint them white. I should have actually mounted some all wheels, you know, but it's okay. These are steely, so we'll get them sorted out. Okay, let's just maybe check if there's any missed spots here and there. I think there's a little bit on the doors on the inside. So let's get all of these doors opened up so we can get this sorted out. And I decided we're not going to do anything about this door that's got those rusty holes. They are just going to have to, well, we're just going to have to live with it. Alright, let's see if we can get those B-pillars painted up and inside the doors. The door jambs over here. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Alright, let's open up the trunk. And just make sure we paint this panel back here. Although this is going to be covered by the panel that we just took off for the interior. I think that looks good. And I always seem to do this, guys. I order way too much paint for the work we really need to do to these cars. But you know what? It's better than to run out of paint and end up not having enough than to have extra. And just as I said it, we actually finished the first can of paint. So yeah, good thing I did buy extra. Alright, so that can go into the trash a bit later on. Okay, let's check this out. We've got our second can. We just gotta try and see if we can get the paint can into the spray gun again. Yeah, these things are a little bit finicky. They struggle to go in, but once you get them in, you're good to go. Alright, so we did miss a little bit on the B pillar there. Come around this side and let's make sure we get this panel up and painted properly. Alright, B-pillar. Let's just make sure we got the door jamb here. Yeah, on the inside of the door. Looking good so far. Yeah, B-pillar is painted up nicely. Door jamb seems to be looking good. And then it's just this door over here. And there goes our air compressor once again. But I think we are pretty much done with this part of the paint job. Alright, well, let's just put this down over here. And I think we are good with this color for now. We're going to be able to take this out. Let's just put this down on the workbench over here once again. And I will check. Maybe we're going to be able to get this thing painted up in clear coat a little bit later on. But for now, let's just maybe start working on our Camaro over there on the lift, guys. I think that is pretty much what everybody is tuned in for, is for the work on the Camaro, which I think is going to be epic once we start digging into that thing. I really can't wait to see if that engine is going to be salvageable or if I'm going to have to just rebuild the whole thing. Alright, so I think first of all, before we start working on this thing at all and touch anything, we're going to get this thing cleaned up. So we're going to just grab our pressure washer over here. Alright, let's bring this over here and I'm gonna see if we can blast away some of this dirt, although the car isn't that bad. Alright, well, just better to clean it up a bit. Alright, yeah, I actually like the look of the black hood. That is actually looking pretty nice. Yeah, luckily the car isn't that dirty. And the paintwork doesn't seem to be too bad. It is just a couple of odd spots here and there we're going to have to deal with. So I think once we get that sorted out, this thing is going to look almost mint condition, guys. I think it's actually... it doesn't look too bad. I mean, I could even drive it as it is, you know. I wouldn't mind a couple of, you know, imperfections on the bodywork for the time being. But yeah, the interior is going to need a little bit of love. But you know what? For the moment, I don't think that is going to be our main concern, because this is going to be my personal daily driver. So I don't think we're going to bother too much with beautifying the car. We just want to make sure this thing is going to be reliable and obviously running, because it is not running at the moment. Okay, so let's do a little bit of an inspection on the year first of all and see what we are working with. So yeah, the gas tank seems to be bad. Some of the shock absorbers back here, well, this one is a little bit bad. I haven't really checked around the front. The transmission looks a little bit bad. Yeah, we've got definitely a couple of things to take care of here. So I think what we're going to do is maybe just strip everything off. So let's start with these beautiful wheels. So I am actually very happy that we've got a matching set of these on the car, which is not a common thing. You don't always find, a car with a matching set of wheels. This tire is a little bit bold, so we might have to get some new tires fitted to these. Although the rims aren't in the greatest condition, I think our buddy who's doing all of the chrome plating for us might be able to refurbish these for us. So it might be worthwhile just putting on a different set of wheels for the time being while we are waiting for these to get refurbished. So yeah, that is probably something that's going to have to happen. Yeah, even this one is quite worn. The tire on this one doesn't look too bad, so we'll see. And it also had some wheel spacers on. So these are 40mm spacers, yeah. Not too bad. Those spacers are even worn out a little bit, so I don't know if it's really a good idea to reuse them. Might buy new ones. Yeah, this one doesn't look too bad. Alright, that's our front wheel. You may notice these are narrows and wides, so we've got the wider ones at the back. Yeah, look at the difference. That's actually a big difference. And we also got some wheel spacers at the front. Alright, this wheel spacer is a 50mm and it doesn't look too great. Alright, so must just remember the 50mm are at the front and the 40mm are at the back. Okay, and I don't know if these are really original wheels to the car. Well, it is a Z28, so I don't know. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comment section if these are original Camaro wheels. They do look sort of familiar. Yeah, it's probably of a 3rd gen Camaro. I don't know, but there we go. Alright, so these are 16 inches and we're going to need at least one tire, but yeah, we might as well get a new set of tires, front and rear, for this thing. There's our wheel spacer, which is also not looking too great. Well, it's still usable, so yeah, I think that is going to work out eventually, guys. We just got to figure out everything and how far I want to go with the restoration on this car, seeing as it is a personal vehicle. It's not going to be something I get rid of anytime soon. Alright, there we go. We've got our very rusty and crusty gas tank of this thing. So this is going to be something we'll rather replace. Get some fresh gas into this thing. It hasn't run in a couple of years, and I think it's going to be better to just get a fresh gas tank with fresh gas and just make sure this thing is going to run right once we get the engine figured out. Yeah, on the suspension side of things, I think let's just see if we can get the assembly off of here at the back first of all. Okay, that shock absorber doesn't look too bad. So yeah, there are going to be some parts that are usable, which will be great. Save a little bit of money. Alright. Drive shaft. Whoa, that came out flying. Okay, luckily I didn't get hit over the head with this thing. But yeah, it's definitely also not looking too great. So drive shaft needs to be replaced rather. So yeah, it seems to be quite a standard thing that's been mounted to the car. Alright, I think, let's see. Should we do the exhausts yet? I think so, because we are going to be probably getting to the engine as well today, because this episode is going to revolve around this Camaro mostly. This exhaust doesn't look too bad. Yeah, we'll decide what we want to do with exhausts, guys. I think maybe we'll just keep it stock. Make sure this thing is just reliable. And maybe later down the line, if we can afford it, we will upgrade the car a little bit. But for now, I think let's just try and see if we can get it running. There's our other exhaust. Also, not too bad. So these exhausts are definitely still usable. Okay, so let's maybe dig into this rear axle now. Yeah, let's just undo it like this. Okay, we'll take the leaf springs off later on. So let's just get this axle free of the car. Come on. There we go. Whoa, jeez, yeah. Everything on this car is just flying off of it, but yeah, Yeah, I think let's get to stripping this axle so that we can see what we are dealing with here. Brakes, well, I think brakes definitely something we'll rather replace, because that looks, yeah, that looks too bad. I can't say this thing is gonna work. Same on this side, it also looks kind of bad. Alright, yeah, there we go. This thing is wiggling about a bit, but there we go. We've got the calipers off, and let's see. Gonna get a screwdriver over here. Alright, brake discs also look extremely thin. Yeah, that is actually looking kind of bad. So brake discs are definitely also going to be replaced. Okay, looking pretty good so far. We gotta check these hubs out. Alright, there we go. That is the one hub. Looking kind of tired, so yeah, we'll probably replace it. The axle itself isn't terrible, but I think since we are going to be working on this and we've got a little bit of money at the moment, we'll probably just rather replace parts at the moment on this thing. This hub is not bad. I would definitely use this again. So kind of got a little bit of a good parts pile going on over here. So far, not much. The handbrake cable. Yeah, I don't know. This, we're going to have to take it off to inspect it a little bit better. Can this freaking thing just stop swinging about? Okay. There we go. Alright, handbrake cable. Yeah, not too great, so we'll probably replace it. And I don't even think I'm going to take this off, you know. Yeah, let's just leave it on there, because we're going to be replacing the axle and the differential as well. So, yeah, no point in taking that off. Alright, so that is rear suspension, our strip. Let's also have a look at the leaf springs and see what we are working with in terms of leaf springs. Well, this one looks kind of new. Okay. That is interesting. Okay, well, let's check the other one here. Yeah, this car was actually sitting pretty straight, so yeah, the leaf springs aren't terrible. This one is a little bit more worn, so we'll probably have a leaf spring laying around, because if I recall, we did take some leaf springs off of a car at some point. What are these? These are... yeah, these are from the Coronet that we actually worked on not too long ago, guys. So I think we've got 2 of these. Let's just see. Yeah, see, just like that. We've got another leaf spring for the car already. So I definitely need to start having a look at all of my parts that I've got laying around. So that we can buy as little parts as possible. You know, it's always a good thing to save a little bit of money. Alright, well, here we go. That is our other leaf spring then. So we will just inspect everything again as we took it off the car before I start buying new parts. And I'll also have a look around at what I've currently got in stock, because, yeah, it looks like we have been saving up a bunch of stuff and not really taken into account that we might have some parts that's going to be usable on this car, or, well, on any other car for that matter. Alright, so moving over to front suspension now. I think we gotta... ooh, the shock is broken. That is looking kind of bad. Come on, there we go. Just get it out of here. Yeah, that is a little bit terrible. Okay, upper control arms are gonna have to come off. There we go. Yeah, nothing great so far. I mean, we can clearly see both shock absorbers are a little bit bad on the front. Okay, so that one is also looking a little bit tired, so we'll rather just replace that as well. This upper control arm, let's just see if we can get it off of here as well. Because everything is kind of stuck on the car, and then we end up getting it loose and then it wants to fly off. So there we go. We've got that removed, and yeah, I'm kind of think now, are there going to be any bolts or anything over here? We might have to get creative in getting those out. Yeah, those are probably going to be a little bit of a mission. Alright, well. Okay, so those are loose, and now we also need to do the brake lines, but I think let's just try and get all of these loose here. Alright, well. Okay, I think we've got those out. Let's just see if it's gonna come off now when we do this, and also the engine mounts, which I think are gonna be a little bit better if we just lower the car down, because I can't really see what I'm doing when it's all the way up there. Alright, come on down slowly. Okay, and then we're gonna see if we can get these engine mounts loose. Okay, same on this side. That should free up our suspension here. Come on, there we go. Alright, that popped out without any major issues. Okay, so let's come and strip this thing a bit further here real quick and see what we are working with. Starting with our calipers. Alright, this caliper is definitely salvageable. We might have to do brake pads in it. Let's also check this hose, because I noticed, yeah, the hoses always seem to look good, but they're not good at all. We still had a hose on this one caliper over here. Alright, let's see if this is any good. Nah, not really. Alright, well, looks like brake hoses are definitely something we're going to have to rather replace. Let's check this one as well while we are on that subject. Okay, so this one is good, and that caliper is good. So we've got one decent brake line and one decent caliper off this whole car, which is, yeah, kind of works out. I mean, if it saves us a couple of bucks, then yeah, I'm all for it, you know. There we go. Alright, now let's take these brake discs off. We'll just undo both of them, and then they should actually just pop off quite easily. Okay, that one is decent on that side, and this one, yeah, not too great. So we can call it a win. We've got at least one good brake disc and one caliper, so yeah, 1 out of 4 isn't too bad. Well, it's actually yeah, it's definitely not a passing grade, you know, but there we go. Lots of stuff that is kind of not terrible, but definitely wouldn't last very long. So that is why we're just going to go ahead and replace these things, because I don't want to be using this car and then, you know, maybe say in a week's time we're going to have to take it all apart again. So just going to be better to make sure everything is decent now, and stuff like this that's already far gone, we're going to replace that anyway. Alright, and this one is almost new. So yeah, good caliper, good hub carrier on the front right corner, which is not too bad. Okay, let's see, maybe tie rods. Yeah, tie rods can also be checked. That's also not too great, so we'll rather replace that. And same on this one. Just rather replace it. It doesn't look too great. Okay, steering link. Yeah, steering link can also be replaced rather. That's looking a little bit rusty anyway. Alright, this arm is decent, so we'll reuse that one. And let's check our steering box as well on here. Now, this is also very important. If this fails, you've got quite a bit of a problem. But in this case, both of them are still manageable. I mean, we can still use those for quite some time. Okay, strut rods. Yeah, once again, stuff that looks good but aren't good anymore. Just go ahead and take them off. Okay, well, this one is definitely good. Alright, well, we are definitely getting a little bit more parts. That seems to be fine. Like this arm, for example, it's also still pretty decent. I haven't even checked the condition of the cross member itself. It's actually, yeah, not too great. So cross member definitely needs to be replaced, and this is also kind of bad. So yeah, completely stripped the suspension of this car, guys. I think that is actually not too bad. Now, you guys know I always forget the tie rods. Well, not the tie rods, the torsion bars. So let's get ourselves a pry tool and see if this thing has got some torsion bars in here, which it does. So we'll pop this one out, which also needs to be replaced. Okay. Alright, and this one, let's just check it as well. And that one is good. Alright, yeah, that figures. So I might actually have some torsion bars laying around, or a torsion bar maybe, you know. Let me quickly check this, because now I'm actually curious to see if I do have got this torsion bar still, which I do. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so we are definitely going to be saving a little bit of money. Yeah, that's not too bad. Alright, so we've got 2 torsion bars, and we've got decent leaf springs at least for front and rear, which all determines the ride height of the vehicle at the end of the day. So I think that actually worked out pretty well. So next up, I want to see if we can get the old transmission out of here, since the car is kind of at the right height for this. Okay, we'll undo the cable there, come around this side and just undo this. Right, and now I'm gonna have to crawl in under here, or you know what, let's work a little bit easier here, guys. We're just gonna lift it back up. Alright, go up a little bit, and I think that should do. Alright, and this is an automatic transmission. So let's go ahead and undo these 2 bolts, and then that should free up the transmission, which is looking kind of very bad. So the starter might be good. Let's just check this. And no, the starter is not good. So just put that back onto there, and then we're going to go and strip the engine. Alright, well, let's just chuck that over there. Let's first of all get the engine out of the car. Okay, let's go back down. Alright, we can go all the way down. Yeah, I think that should do the trick. Okay, whoa, look at this battery. Yeah, this thing needs to come out anyway. Alright, let's take this off. Oh, that is looking nasty. Okay, so new battery it is. Gonna have to buy a new battery. Definitely. Alright, should we start with radiator? Oh, we are missing a cooling fan as well. Okay, well, let's get the radiator out of the way and just see what this radiator is all about. I think this radiator is probably bad. Alright, so we've got the radiator out, and it's kind of looking bad. Yeah, that is no good. Alright, so I think let's also just check these hoses, and I see this thing has got a fan shroud on here, which also bolts down onto it. Alright, well, the fan shroud still seems to be decent. Okay. And now let's also check the radiator hoses, if they are any good, which they aren't. Well, so far that one isn't. And this one, yeah, same story. It's a little bit bad. So we'll definitely keep the radiator shroud, because that's gonna definitely be used again. Okay, but the radiator is toast, so rather gonna replace that with a brand new one. Alright, let's see what else we gotta do to get this engine out of here. Okay, so it's probably mostly still just a bunch of cables that's holding this thing in. And obviously the fuel line over here. Okay, and now, yep, here we go. This is our 383 stroke, or at least that's what the valve covers say. I don't know if it's really a 383. I don't know. Is there a way to tell? Can we just check this? Yeah, I don't know. This looks like it's a 350 cubic inch block. Alright, well, I don't know what the 383 stroker is for then. It's probably just a custom valve cover. Maybe you guys can tell me a little bit more about this engine, and just let me know if a 383 stroker is something to do with the engine capacity, or is it just a fancy valve cover that we've got here. But I don't know. So I'll let you guys tell me. We do, however, have got... Yeah, I actually like the look of these valve covers the way that it is. But yeah, we do have got a couple of custom parts on this engine that I've noticed. Like the distributor. That is a... Oops. Okay. Alright. Well, this is a... What's it called? The MSD. distributor, which is pretty nifty if you ask me. Alright, those spark wires are definitely not the greatest, so I don't think I would really want to go too crazy with the engine in this car. Because, I mean, let's face it, we also want to still try and keep this thing somewhat economical. This is a 800 CFM carburetor, which is definitely not going to be very economical. So, we'll see. Maybe we'll detune it a little bit. Just make sure this thing is going to not get too terrible gas mileage. Because we are going to be trying to daily this thing. And, yeah, I don't know. There's some performance spark plugs in this engine. Or in these cylinder heads. Well, at least in this cylinder head that I could see, there's some performance parts. What do we have here? This is also high performance rockers, but they are definitely worn. Okay, what else we got? Let's have a look at this distributor, because this thing is actually... It'd be a pity if this thing was broken, because this is a pretty good distributor, guys. Yeah, it looks like it's decent, so I might hang on to this. We might be able to revive that and reuse it and just get that kind of look going again. If I'm looking at this engine block, guys, let's just... I don't know, we'll inspect it after we stripped everything off. We'll see how bad it is. Because I didn't even bother to check the condition of the block, but it looks like it might actually be good. We've got a couple of decent stuff here. So far, there's obviously some stuff that are not decent. Let's check this out. That's a very fancy looking thermostat housing, but we might replace that anyway. Alright, I think let's come around this side. Okay, we've got some performance spark plugs in here as well, which is great. Alright, I wonder what the condition of this header would be, because the other one doesn't look too great on the other side. Let's just see. Alright, well, this one doesn't look terrible, but this one on this side actually looks kind of bad, so... Yeah, I'll see if I can just replace the one, maybe. Try and save a bit of money getting this thing back up and running, but... There's definitely money to be spent here as well on this thing. Alright, no idea what this intake is supposed to be. If it's just a stock intake or if this is also like a performance intake. I think this is probably a performance intake if you ask me. It looks like a... I don't know, yeah, it's a little bit higher than the stock intake. So, yeah, that might actually be a performance intake. So, I don't know. We'll see what I decide on when we put this engine back together again. Alright, but I think let's get this cylinder head off of here, because I'm kind of wondering if these spark plugs are any good. And I think we'll get a pretty good idea if we just take the head off and flip it around. Okay, so those two on the right hand side are a little bit dark, and the ones on the left seems to be good. So yeah, possibility that the spark plugs may have been just replaced quite a while ago. Alright, but we do have got this head gasket, which isn't looking too bad, but I would rather just replace that anyway. Right, oil filter has definitely seen some better days, so it's definitely going to be replaced. Alright, let's spin the engine over this way a bit and see what we've got to work with on this side. Okay, were those bolts loose? Yeah, they were too. Okay, interesting. Well, there's our other valve cover that I think this was just the stickers that were put on here, but it looks decent, guys. Imagine if we really got a 383 cubic inch block in this thing. I think that'll actually be pretty much very uneconomical if you ask me, but okay. Well, we've got one decent set of rockers. Those ones don't look too great, but this one looks fairly decent. So I don't know if I really want to go with HP parts again. No high performance stuff. So I'll put this over here. I'll bear it in mind that we've got the possibility of making this thing bit of a performance engine, but depending on what we do with the engine block, because if this is an original engine block to this car, I think it'll be great if we could retain this engine, you know, and just get it rebuilt, because as you can see, we've got a high performance spark plugs in this cylinder head as well, and these all look pretty decent. So I don't know, we'll maybe strip those out in a second year and just have a look at them and see what they are like. And we've got another head gasket that isn't terrible. I think it's just better to replace it rather, because later down the line we might end up having issues with it. And the car might overheat, which means we're going to have to do this job again. So I think we'll just rather do it properly the first time and make sure everything is good. Or well, at least as good as it can be. Yeah, which this isn't. It's not very good. Clutch plate also pretty much on its last leg. So now I must say this looks like a pretty... Oops, let's just get the right bolts loosened up here. Yeah, this looks like a pretty performance looking flywheel, you know. What is this? This is an aftermarket one. Yeah, definitely not looking too bad, guys. So this might be something we can replace on the engine, or well, put it back on the engine. I don't think it adds that much power. And also probably not going to affect the fuel economy too much. Alright, and this is our water pump. Alright, well... Don't see any wear on this. This looks pretty new to me. This harmonic balancer, however, doesn't look too bad. Let's just see what it's all about. Can we just move this thing out of the way before we end up kicking that thing around? Okay, let's see. I think let's take this off first before we take the harmonic balancer off, because this pulley is bad. Right, that needs to be replaced. Definitely. No doubt about it. And yeah, this is a lightweight harmonic balancer, so definitely a whole lot of performance parts on this engine, guys. So somebody definitely spent a little bit of money on this car back in the day. Back in its heyday, as they would say. Oops, there goes the fuel pump, which is... It looks good. Okay. Alright, well, let's see if we get this... Oh, that was loosened already. Okay. Let's get this timing cover off here. Come on. There we go. Alright, that is quite a bit bad. So we're going to have to replace that. And I actually like the theme that they've got going with this engine. You know, the black with the kind of shiny bits. Actually looks pretty good. Alright, yeah, we should probably take it off. Let's just take off this pulley. Sprocket rather, that's a sprocket, not a pulley, but okay. Definitely not the same thing. Sprocket and a pulley is not the same thing, although they do similar things. Well, the one drives the chain and the other one drives the belt. Now I'm looking for... Where the heck I put the toolbox, guys? Oh, it's still over there, okay. Yeah, because we need a pry tool again, which isn't in the toolbox again, but I found it. Luckily, I found it a little bit quicker this time. Okay, so I think let me just bring my toolbox over there so that we can actually work a little bit easier on this. And it is actually starting to get late already, guys. So yeah, this old Camaro is definitely keeping us busy today with all of its, you know, parts we are just having a look at here. All right, now we can pop this off. Sprocket still looks good, but this is also a very important piece of the puzzle, you know, for the engine. So I don't know if I'll reuse that. I'll decide. Maybe certain things you just rather should replace with new ones while you are in there. Like this is a street crankshaft, so it's what they would call a hot cam. Okay. All right. Well, I'm doubtful we are going to go too crazy with performance parts on this engine again, guys. But let's quickly get this oil pan off of here. And I could already tell, but I'm not so sure exactly. We will only know for certain once I start taking this thing apart. But I think we might find a stroker crankshaft in here, most probably. That is also why it says stroker on the valve covers. So that is probably what this is about. Okay, so I think let's start with pistons. And these are performance pistons, but they are worn, so yeah, we might replace these with just stock pistons, but it depends on what this engine block is, guys, because I don't want to go, you know, end up tearing the block up if we need performance pistons in this thing. We'll see. What is this? This is another performance piston, so they should probably all be performance pistons if you ask me, otherwise it wouldn't make sense. Well, we're kind of also just getting an idea of the condition of these parts. Some of them are actually not that bad. Alright, well. Okay. Yeah, this is actually turning out to be not too bad. I mean, that one is a little bit worn. These are still decent, but once again, I don't know if I really want performance pistons, guys, because this is going to affect our fuel economy and also make the car maybe a little bit more dangerous to drive. So I don't know, it's going to be a handful if we got too much power. At the same time, we don't really going to be doing any racing unless if we decided to get into drag racing at some point. But for that, I would rather build a whole other car, because I don't want to end up tearing up that beautiful machine. Well, once it is beautiful, we don't want to go tearing it up and breaking it. Alright, yeah, these pistons so far have not been looking so good at the back of the engine, which means it could have probably overheated. I don't know. There's many things to consider. So we've got these pistons aren't too bad. This one is a little bit worn, but these four are decent, so I don't know what to make of this, guys. But okay, now the moment of truth is I want to know if we are running a stroker crankshaft in this engine and what is the condition of this thing. And are we going to be able to revive this engine block? And yep, as I guessed it, guys, this is in fact a stroker crankshaft. Okay. So now the question is, are we going to be building a more stock-like engine, or are we going to be building something that is going to be, you know, a little bit more powered than what we think? I think the engine block should be able to survive, because it doesn't look like it's worn. So, yeah, I don't know. You guys can help me decide. Should we keep the 350 and just build it somewhat stock and keep it reliable? Or do you guys think we should do a little bit of a mild tune on the 350? Or maybe let me know if we should just rather go and build something completely different for this car. But I think it deserves a 350, because if I'm not mistaken, I think a 350 is actually one of the engines that this car came out with. Because I think that'll be pretty good if we can stick to the original engine. But I think, guys, before we end this episode, let's maybe also get this thing maybe painted up in clear coat real quick. I think that'll be great, because then it means, yeah, the paint is dry to the touch. So I think we are good to do that. Now, I must just bear in mind we've got the engine block here, but we are going to be spraying clear coat, so I don't think it's a big issue. Okay, so we shouldn't get overspray on it, and even if we do, it's not a big issue. Alright, so yeah, I already took the old paint out, so we're going to be starting with the clear coat now. Let's just pop it into here. And luckily, this is a nice bright color, so we should be able to see it. So let's just get this thing clear coated up, and then when we come back in the next episode, we're going to hopefully have all of our parts to put this car back together. And hopefully I'm also going to have some decisions on what we're going to do with the engine for the Camaro. And yeah, hopefully also get all of the suspension parts ready for the Camaro, so that we can start getting that thing put back together. And at least make it rolling again with its, you know, all four wheels back on the car. But I don't know if it's going to be those wheels, because those are going to need a little bit of refurbishing. So guys, I think this is actually a pretty red. It's a little bit brighter than I thought, because I actually Googled the color code for Coca-Cola Red, and this is what they gave me. This what is F4? What was it again? F4009. So I don't know, guys. It looks a little bit too bright, but I guess different countries have got different shades of red for Coca-Cola brands. Don't really know if it's a universal color, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You guys can let me know if you think maybe it's just my flashlight that's making it look a little bit brighter, because yeah, it's a little bit dark already and it's starting to get late. It's already 2 minutes past 5, so yeah, that is probably why we are thinking this is a little bit too bright, but I think it actually looks pretty decent. There goes the air compressor again, doing its thing. Alright, well, she's definitely gonna look pretty good. Whether it's actually the right color or not, I think it's gonna look pretty sick. Now my idea is, I don't want to put any stickers or anything like that on the car, you know, for making it look like a real Coca-Cola car. It's just gonna be like the color. And I think the white wheels will definitely set the right mood on this car. And once we get this body polished up, I think it's going to look pretty dang nice. We definitely missed some clear coat on the inside, so we'll come back for that as well. Alright, let's just get this all cleared up. I don't know if it's just me or if it's really a thing, but I think the clear coat actually goes a lot further than the regular paint. But I don't know, it's probably just my imagination. I think it's just a matter of yeah, I don't know, look at it, it's empty now, so I don't know, I think it's pretty much the same, more or less, if you ask me. Okay, so that is empty. We are going to have a whole lot of cleanup work to do here, guys. Alright, well, let's get another can of clear coat in the spray gun. Come on, let's just get that sweet spot. There we go. Alright, well, where were we? We were over here at this door. Okay. Alright, well, it's definitely getting there. And I think this is gonna cure nicely for us before we start polishing this thing. And then I think we should be golden to start putting this car together. So I just hope that we are going to be able to get all of the parts we need for this car. I don't know about the interior yet. I'm going to probably have to hunt around for some of the parts. I think some of them should be readily available, but some stuff might be a little bit hard to come by. I guess we'll only know once we start looking for those interior panels, because I haven't done any, you know, shopping yet for the interior. Well, okay, let's just paint up this door jamb again. Yeah, the clear coat definitely stretches a bit further, but I think we are just being a little bit too, you know, finicky with how we want this thing to look. Because I want to try and do a decent job, since we aren't going to be keeping this car. Whoa, come on, stand still. Whoa, crap. Yeah, this thing is definitely rolling about a bit now. Alright, so we are going to be putting this car up on auction again, so there's a possibility one of you guys could get your hands on it as well. So yeah, join the Discord server at the end of this video, and then you guys are going to be able to bid on this car as well, and also any other future vehicles that I'm going to be featuring on this Salvage Auto Rebuild series of ours. Alright, well, let's just make sure we get this B-pillar painted up, the door jambs, okay. And did we do this side as well? Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Alright, well, slowly but surely this thing is going to look pretty nifty. Can call this the Coca-Cola Mobile. There we go. Alright, last door jamb. Let's just check this out. And yeah, this door is the only imperfection part on the car, which is... it's kind of a bummer. I maybe should replace the door. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comment section if we should rather replace that door. But, I mean, the door panel or the door card actually covers it up pretty well. Let's just maybe check if we if we got all of this painted up here. Alright, well, I think that looks pretty decent now. So guys, there we go. I think that is looking pretty good. So we've got our car painted up now in Coca-Cola red. As I said, that is the color code that was found on Google. So I don't know, it's very similar to the Camaro, actually, considering. Although I think the Camaro is maybe a different shade of red to that. Yeah, that is definitely a little bit brighter, if you ask me, but I don't know. Could be that this one is just a little bit too faded. So I don't know, guys. We'll see. Maybe if we put them alongside each other, we could tell properly. But I think this is definitely a little bit brighter, more in your face red than the Camaro. So yeah, I think this is going to sit here and cure. And I'm going to have to neaten up this place and sort out everything again before I go home. But yeah, I think that is going to be where I leave today's episode, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. We've definitely got a very nice project going on here now. And hope you guys are looking forward to see how this thing turns out and how we're going to be able to get this thing up and running. As I said, in terms of interior, I'm going to have to see what we can find. But for now, I'm just going to try and see if we can get this thing up and running. Oh, there's our fuel line. Alright, but yes, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. Really appreciate every view, every like. And you guys know, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of this series. And also looking forward to hearing from you guys in the comment section. So do drop those comments down below. And give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. And then I will see you all in the next one. So until then, cheerio for now.